Serbia and Kosovo leaders Aleksandar Vučić and Albin Kurti have agreed to endorse a Western-backed deal after years of tensions, but said more work needs to be done when it comes to the implementation of the proposal. Under the so-called Franco-German deal, Belgrade said it will recognize Kosovo's official documents such as license plates and passports and won't block Kosovo's membership to international organizations. Pristina, on the other hand, agreed to ensure, quote, an appropriate level of self-management for its Serb community in the north. Another meeting is scheduled for next month to finalize the deal.
I think it's a shame it wasn't signed tonight, since we agreed. I'm the Prime Minister, and the confirmation of the acceptance of the proposed text of course would have to result in a signature, but it was the Serbian side that did not do this, even though we agreed.
It is important that we talked. It is good that we talked. I believe that we will be able to overcome unilateral moves that will threaten the safety of people on the ground. I hope and believe that we will be able to work on what we called implementation, and above all the implementation of previously reached agreements.
Let's cross now to Belgrade. Dusan Janic is there. He is the president of the executive board at Forum for Ethnic Relations. Mr. Janic, great to have you with us for this topic.
Welcome.
Seems like Vučić and Kurti agreed to so many things, but the Serbian side was still not ready to sign. Why?
It's because of disputes about the association of municipalities. And basically, Vučić is asking some guarantee that association will be treated according to the Brussels agreements, previous Brussels agreements 2012 and 2015. And that's behind of the story. According to Kurti, it's basically that could be discussed under the general statement of this agreement about the European proposal or agreement as the question of minority self-government is not the same. Unfortunately, it's not the same. And for that, we will have 1, 2, 3 meetings. The next will be in Macedonia.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that they will agree. At the end of the story, they will agree and both will sign.
So some form of association will be created in the north of Kosovo. What are your thoughts? How will this self-governance look like?
That's basically is closer to my heart and head. Talking about minority self-government than association. Association is the one of the form, or association of communities is one of the form of possible form of minority autonomy. But politically, that was proclaimed by Belgrade and the ruling party, Vučić party, and the end of the story that was accepted in the previous tour of the Brussels agreement. But what that could be now, according to that agreement about the normalization, which has to be signed, I think that will be one complete protection of national identity of Serbian community, plus including cultural heritage, religions, plus the status of the church, which is really important for identity. And the end of the story, that will be also the guarantee for education, schooling, what was not discussed until now. And then, just to conclude, to be more clear to the public, basically, I'm not sure at the end of the story that will be called the Association of Serbian Community. Maybe that will be something different. And in Serbia, we had the same system. And for example, Albanians in Serbia, they have the National Council of Albanian Communities. Something like this will come, and to be clear, that could not be guaranteed only to the Serbs. Serbs are special case causes question of the status of Kosovo. Kosovo was the part of Serbia, and for that is so sensitive issue, could not be compared with the Turks, with the Gorans and others, but the same standards
Right.
basically exist in Kosovo, according to Ahtisaari plan and the Kosovo constitution, but not in practice.
So Serbia will get some kind of community association in the north. But Kosovo seems to me is getting a lot more. Would you agree that Kosovo managed to get more from this deal if we are talking about the mutual recognition of the symbols, passports and license plates, plus the fact that Serbia will not block Kosovo in the international institutions? Are we here talking about the de facto recognition or path towards that?
Basically, agreement is the political act which is producing the juridical consequences. We could not say that is de facto. That's also de jure. But recognition of existence of Republic Kosovo as the separate entities. It's all, I know that people want to use de facto and de jure, that is de jure. Because once, when the agreement will be signed, but that is not the full recognition from Serbia in the sense of international public law. That is one step toward. Just that I think that argument for that what I'm talking is everything what you said, plus that the mission before liaison office, which were under the coverage of EU, will be established the permanent missions by the governments. We had something similar with Croatia, we in Serbia, after the war, and that was one stage, maybe 2-3 years after that, that was a rise on the level of the embassies. What is the full recognition? The full recognition is when the one government or parliament or president, never mind, will send the ambassadors issue one document about that.
Right.
And I think that solution is the compromise. Is not it's a serious compromise for Albanian side and serious achievement for Serbia, because in reality, really Kosovo is functioning mainly independently of Serbia.
And just briefly, I want to go back to the status of Serbs in the north of Kosovo. Albin Kurti was our guest here on Across the Balkans. And what seems to me is that he wants to avoid creation of another Republika Srpska in Kosovo, as this proved not to be functioning in Bosnia. Are there fears that all this will lead exactly to that type of entity in Kosovo?
Basically, yeah, that's true. That is the fear of trauma or policy of Kurti. He's against the association for two reasons. One reason that he is talking for multicultural Kosovo, and for that he is not for special arrangements for special communities. But basically, he's not right. The Kosovo constitution, I said, and Ahtisaari, all of the special rights. For example, Serbs have the 10 seats in the parliament guaranteed. The other reason is the executive power of the association. And in that element, Kurti is right. Where one interpretation so strong in Serbian policy, especially in the ruling party, that they had to achieve some kind of the executive power. According to the Brussels Agreement, no executive power. And when we are talking about the north of Kosovo, I will not be so, I will not be so hurry. There's the question of negotiation. I'm not excluding that will be found some more, appropriate model, which was discussed 2008-9, some kind of integrative regional autonomy on the north. But there's the process. Leave the time to politicians and diplomats. But reality is reality. And the end of the story, Serbia and Kosovo are neighbors. They have to build a good neighborhood relations, what is the point of this agreement. And in that, they must in some way to solve the problem of Serbs and also to arise the rights of Albanians in Serbia, not to reduce them only in cultural autonomy.
Dusan Janic, great to have you with us on Across the Balkans.
Welcome.
And that's it for this week. See you next time. Bye-bye.